Hey guys, Coach Science here. We want to go over the first exercise of our movement fundamentals series, okay? And it's going to be the push-up. Now, I know most of you guys are thinking of push-up. It's a very basic exercise, but even with very experienced athletes, soldiers, military guys, any type of athletic, male in particular, we always see the same mistakes again and again and again. It's one of those exercises that is commonly done incorrectly. So we're going to address some of the things that we want to see when we actually execute this movement, as well as some of the more common mistakes that we see. So the first thing we want to do is how we correctly do a push-up. We start on our knees. I'll step forward with my hands here. I'm going to place them under my shoulders, about shoulder width apart. From here, I'll step back into that good front plank and bridge position. All right, my head's in a neutral position. I'll go ahead and lower myself all the way down to the ground, keeping my body as one unit. I'll touch my chest and my upper abdomen, and then come right back up to full extension. Okay? So we want to keep it all in one piece all the way down. I touch the ground, drive it straight back up. Elbows come to that fully extended position. And that's how you correctly do a push-up. Alright guys, so we see three common mistakes with the push-up. The first one being the most predominant one we see, and that is the segmentation of the back and not keeping the torso as one unit. So what happens is you see the athlete will get in this good start position here, and you imagine they're going to go down in a good push-up, but what's going to happen is they kind of drop their hips here, they come down, they push up like so. So now our spine is not locked into that one good position. We're kind of going to 1, 2, pushing back up, and then re-extending. We don't want to see that segmentation. We want to see your body move as one unit. So from my ankle all the way to my shoulder, nothing changes. It's all the way down, all the way up. We don't see any sagging in the spine here. We don't see that ass up in the air. We see one good flat line, like a board. All the way down, all the way up. The second mistake we see is most often with females and their hand position. What happens is their hands go too wide, and they have a tendency to put them out in front of their body like so. That causes the elbows to flare up. And that'll look something like this. Wide hands out in front instead of under the shoulders, and you see this position right here, where they're kind of pressing with the elbows out. All right, this is not a strong position. You want those athletes to move their hands in and under the shoulders to get in that strong push-up position. Third mistake we see is usually with our stronger males. They have bigger arms. They have a tendency to not reach full extension at the bottom. With the push-up, just like the overhead press and the bench press, you should come to a fully extended position with that elbow. So right here we see this a lot. And we're actually looking for a fully extended position like so. Here, all right, with that arm locked out in the top position. All right, so scaling the push-up down, okay? The interesting thing about push-ups and pull-ups is that we're going to prescribe a certain number of reps usually. And what happens is that due to the wide variety and wide levels of fitness, all right, it may not always be applicable. So even our male athletes will often have to scale back and adjust the exercise so they can actually meet the volume. The easiest way to do that is simply by getting on your knees, crossing them, and doing the movement exactly the same. I still keep my body in as one unit, but the difference is, instead of being a straight line from my ankle to my shoulder, it's now from my knee to my shoulder. And what it helps to do is pull those heels to your butt so your kneecaps aren't resting on the ground. You're actually resting on the meaty portion of your thigh, above the knee. From here, I'll keep that same position, hands under my shoulders, come all the way down, touch my chest, and drive straight back up. I'm still hitting that full extension in the top position. Another thing that we'll see sometimes is as an athlete becomes fatigued, they'll kind of go into something called the worm. And although this is not ideal for building strength, if you're in a work capacity, you're still getting the movement down. And it's actually very similar to how we would suggest to do a burpee. And what it looks like is this. You actually will see a lot of CrossFit athletes doing it because it is more efficient. All right? They'll start by laying down and then pushing up their upper body and then coming back to that upright position. So it's here. It's kind of like a worm type movement. And although it's not ideal for building upper body strength endurance, it is a more efficient movement that some athletes may have to go to in a work capacity or high rep effort. Okay guys, so check it out. We talked about how to correctly do a push-up, some common mistakes, and then how to scale it down. All right? Anything in the gym, we always look for quality over quantity. I'd rather see 5 good push-ups than 10 crappy push-ups. So make sure you're doing this very basic exercise correct.